All right, at this point, you should have done all your outlines, your geometry, and your design work. And now you're ready to start assigning toolpaths to convert to code that we can put on our machines. So the first thing you need to do is import the tool library that we've set up for the wallet specifically. You don't always need to do this, but we have it set up for this project, and so it's best to just use it because it has all the parameters already set. So up on the toolpaths tab, you just click there, and then you're going to want to find the tool database. And then over here, now I already have it loaded, but if you just come over to the bottom and import, you'll be able to locate in my distribution drive, the R drive, you can find the wallet tool library, and it'll ask if you want to import it. And I would just say no to import. Now I'm actually going to cancel out of this because I already have all the tools over here. So I would create a duplicate if I did that. So I have the wallet tools. I use a 1/4 inch M mill, a ball nose M mill, a center drill, a number 43 drill, and then a V-bit. As I look at all these, you can see it changes all the parameters. I have tool numbers, I have spindle speeds, feed rates. The spindle speeds and feed rates, the pass steps, the step over, they should all be set already, but you'll confirm as you go through the job sheet, and it highlights all the different parameters. So the max cut depth is going to be 0.1. You're going to make sure it's 6,000 RPM, 21 inches a minute for feed, 10 inches a minute for plunge. The tool number we have blank right here because depending on which shop or machine you're running in, it may change, but everything else should be pretty consistent. So then you're going to come back over to your actual file. Once you have it uploaded in, you can cancel out of that. Okay, and then it's there. Or you're actually going to apply that if you just imported the toolpath. Mine was already there. Then over on the right side, you see all the toolpath operations. So on the tab on the right, it says toolpaths. Right there, it's going to bring up all these different options. So if I hover over, I have a profile toolpath, a pocket toolpath, drilling, a quick engrave, inlay, a Vcarve, fluting, texturing, prisms, so on and so forth, some 3D stuff down here. Then I have some toolpath operations like recalculate, delete, copy, edit. I can display that tool database I just pulled up, and then we'll get into some of the save functions later. I also have a preview toolpaths. And then on the bottom, no toolpaths are created, but once I start creating them, they'll show up down here so I can go back in and edit or whatever the case is so that I can accomplish the project. So the first thing I'm going to do is see that toolpath number 1 is the outside shape of the wallet, and I'm using that 1/4 inch M mill. My cut depth is 0.1, and I want to turn the ramp on to 1 inch on the part. So when I look over here, I'm going to do the 2D profile. So I click that. Now you need to make sure that you actually tell it what you want to cut, and it says the outside outline. So this is what I'm going to cut out with the wallet, all right? So I'm going to go ahead. Cut depth is set at 0.1 already. Make sure that's it. Our material is 0.090 or 90,000, so this is going to make it go just a little bit through the part. My tool is the 5/64 ball end mill. We can always double check by clicking edit, but I see 6,000, 20, 10, a pass depth of 20 thousandths, okay? And then tool number 2 in this case, which is, actually that's the wrong tool. So I'm going to close out of there, and I actually want to select, I realize that that second it's 5/64s, I actually want this 1/4 inch end mill. Then I come over and I realize it's tool number 1, 6,000, 21, 10, and a pass depth of 30 thousandths. Now for this, I want to leave the wallet alone. I want to leave that remaining and cut everything around it. So you have to select, do you want to cut outside or inside or on for this? This one's going to be outside, all right? So that's all good. And then the one other thing it said in our job sheet was to add a ramp. So this allows it to ramp in instead of plunge straight down. So we're just going to ramp in a distance of just 1 inch. Once you're done with the toolpath, you have to hit calculate. So you hit calculate, and on this one it says a warning, it's going to go through. We know that, so we just say okay. And it brings up our simulation tab. Okay, so our simulation tab, I'm allowed to preview everything over here. So I can preview that, and it's going to show me the cutout. Now, one thing I realized I didn't do, which is easy enough to do right now, is I forgot to change my material size. So in my job sheet, after I'm done with everything, I want to change my stock size to reflect the actual blank that we're going to use. So 4 inches by 2.5 by 90 thousandths thick. So if I come back, I can edit and go to job size and position. And I'm going to change my X to 4 by 2.5 and the 90,000 stays the same. I say okay. Tells me all my toolpaths need to be calculated. Okay, that's fine. But before I do that, I actually want to select everything and center it in my material. Okay, and then I can recalculate my toolpath. So I can do that a couple different ways. I can double click it and then just scroll to the bottom and calculate, which you'll have to do if you make any sort of changes. Okay, so I'll go ahead and do that. Brings my toolpath preview up again. Now I can preview it again. Now I can see it leaves some scrap left over. It takes 4 passes. That looks good. Okay, the other way I could have done that is just by hitting recalculate all toolpaths, and that would have done the same job. And now you'll see I have this one toolpath in the bottom, and so I'm ready to move on to the rest of my toolpaths.